might be an issue where then you might not be able to legally give anybody anything, but these things cost $1. You wrap them around your arm, your leg, your hat, your bicycle. And I was gonna donate 25 of them and give the police department, maybe they can hand it out, especially the young children with bicycles and no lights or reflectors, and address to them that the fact that if they're caught without it, that the bike would be confiscated and their parents would have to come down, to get the bike back. And then people too, just walking on the streets at night, black hooded jackets and everything, you can't see them, And I was told today by one of the police officers that they are giving out tickets for no headlights on with wipers. But I'm wondering if the town of Rosendale could get a hold of some of these radio stations which advertise everything in the world, but just junk. And recommend that town of Rosendale Police Department wants to remind you it's raining today, put your headlights on. I've never heard of radio yet, ever since the new rule came through. They did it for the first couple of months, and the last couple of years they haven't heard a word. And like I say, we could get it to that town of Rosendale is reminding people to put their headlights on today, and we get some of the radio stations to do that.
Mary Lou, there shouldn't be any objection to that.
No, as long as you guys accept them for giving them to the police department to hand out, the confiscation, like you need a whole bike walk for that. But, yeah, but that's a lovely idea to hand those out, as long as you accept them and give them to the police department or the clerks or whatever you want to do to hand them out.
I can hand them out for you.
Like I say, I was just told that possibility that upon the police department to hand them out, if something was to have an accident, and they claimed that this was some of the reason that they would be responsible because they gave out reflectors.
Well, I don't see why we can't give them to the town clerk if she can hand them out.
It'd be available at the town clerk's office while they last.
Yeah, and it's, it's a
Nice
really
idea.
important point for motorcyclists. And, in the town where I went to college, there were so many kids on bikes, and police used to stop us all the time if we didn't have reflectors or that, because it is really dangerous. Drivers can
put this on the collar
see.
or something.
Yeah, so it is something to do.
I know the bike shop always encourages people to, buy the extra lighting, even though the bikes are required to have reflectors on them before they go out the door.
But I happen to see these in the Dollar General, and they are $1.
Yeah.
So I bought 5 of them, which I'll
Go
give
buy
you.
some.
Well, thank you very much, Jack. That was a very nice gesture.
Yeah, very nice.
Appreciate it, and you want to give them to Mandy, we'll make sure they get handed out.
Yes, I will take them.
It might not be a bad idea to give some to Ernest for the youth, for them to give out at the youth center to kids, because they bike down, bike around, and it's what.
That's a great
I say I picked up 5 stoppers, but I will pick up another. I say 25 and donate them.
Thank you.
I'm going to the
Well, maybe Mandy can pass along some to Ernest for the.
That's okay.
He comes in. Yeah. All right, thanks, Jack. Anybody else have something they'd like to bring up?
Jack, could you be interested in buying windshield wipers and giving them out too? Because I need a set.
I was going to tell.
He wants reflectors and headlights. All right.
I got a
Yes.
couple things, I don't know if I can bring up, can I talk again during the meeting?
Is it a subject that's on the agenda?
Yeah, one of the things is, but I'm also the liaison for the fire department, to the town board. And I watched the certificates given to the policemen for her efforts. And I just like the fire department to be recognized too, because they were very much a part of it. And
That's
the
very
news
good.
story
Yeah.
said everything happened before they arrived. That's not how it happened.
Okay,
We appreciate that.
Yeah.
yeah, and that's a good point.
And I'm not trying to steal anybody's thunder,
No,
but I want to be
totally-
credit where credit is due.
Absolutely, and unless you tell me, I don't know, so I'm glad you brought it up. Why don't you give Mandy a list of who, was at either one of those scenes? And we can include them in recognition.
And And you know what, with that being said, for future reference, you're 100% right. But unless nobody steps up to the plate and voices and lets us know what really happened, you get to the point where it's after the fact. So I guess this is a good lesson to be learned.
It's still an important thing, and we're glad you
Sure
brought
is.
it up. And, you know, we know about what happens with the police department because we're here, you know,
Well, I read in two newspapers about, it was all said and done before the fire department got there. It was, you know, that was a joint.
Well, we understand that, you know, you guys are all part of it, and we work together as a team. But, you know, we just felt the need to recognize our police officers, and we'd be happy to recognize our firemen also. And I think you brought up something that might be worth consideration as a liaison to
Yeah,
the
that's a
fire
good point.
departments. I like that idea.
Yep.
Maybe they can work on figuring out who can do that.
Just things like this wouldn't get missed.
And then there was something under the Pilgrim pipeline, I don't know if you're gonna talk about that, but I saw Jen quoted that Rosendale doesn't have the resources to fight fire, and I just wanna know where you got that from.
Well, I didn't actually say that. Bill Kimball just said things and attributes them to
I was
people.
quoted as saying
I-
like committing malpractice at a meeting that I didn't even attend.
Yeah, it was funny. It didn't even come up in the conversation I had, but it is the case that other towns, that I know of, in Orange County, the emergency services, the fire
I'm sure it'll be a
departments came.
difficult task.
Well, they came and
Sure.
said that they would not have the ability to respond to a leak of over 1,000 gallons of oil. Like, they did not have the capacity to respond to that level of emergency. So they were letting their town boards know that their emergency services, you know, they're
That's fine.
understaffed.
I just wonder how you got quoted.
Right.
Well,
No,
you
it
know what?
wasn't-
How did you
happens
get
a
all
lot.
that?
It
All
happened,
the time.
yeah.
How did you get all the fame in it? I read that whole thing, it was you. How did you do it?
They get a contact on an issue, and they keep calling the same person, you know.
And then they make up
You know what?
quotes.
90%,
You do have to be careful,
90% of the
though.
information in these local papers are so inaccurate. They're not even good to start a fire in a wood stove with, because I know I had a write-up done on me and it was inaccurate. Well, I'm good to go, you know.
Right, although I have to say, we're gonna talk about on the agenda, but I'm glad that it's being covered by.
Yeah, I
in the
mean,
daily
And you didn't bring
briefing.
up the historical bridge that we have, but somebody else
Somebody else
did.
did, yeah.
Because I've been pressuring that, how they're gonna get by that, under the creek, next to it, what they're gonna do.
Well, that is one of the many reasons why
That's
we're
a
gonna be
definite
taking
seeker
the
issue.
action we're taking tonight on this.
Well, one of the
I
actions
think-
should be the Historical Society should be also involved in this if they're not, because like the fire department, we may assume they know, but they may not know.
Maybe we can ask Bill to,
They'll hope.
Bill Brooks.
Are you talking about
Our
those
town historian.
Accountants.
Because the state is a state and
Right,
federal
state will be-
issue.
No, but what I'm
Right.
saying is our town historian could,
Yes.
you know, do the right channels to make sure that
Well, they
we're.
could request to be an interested agency so
Yeah.
that they get contacts.
Yeah.
But let me just say, Bill, that I think the other issue about the fire is that this would create the kind of fire that might be difficult for anyone to be able to fight because it would be, you know, crude oil that would burn and will explode and, you know, so, you know, I don't know, you know, I'm not a fireman, I don't know
Oh,
enough
sure.
about.
I'm sure
I don't
you're
know
right.
enough about the capabilities of our local fire departments, but I would say that it's probably gonna be worse than anything we could ever imagine if we had an incident, and would definitely tax our resources, that's for sure.
Yeah, be a challenge
Oh,
for
you
any
might,
town.
you might be 100% correct, but I just wanted to see where you
Right.
got that, how you came up with it.
Good point.
Right.
Yes, Jack?
The recognition of people that work for this town around